Meanwhile, Savior again trying to harass those probes that are on their way, and Free just guarding them, just escorting them down. Looks like Savior's going in for a drop here. Savior bringing in about 4 overlords just to the west of Free's natural expo. The Hive now morphing for Savior. Savior looks like he's pulling those overlords back. Looked like he was going to gear for a drop there for a second, and then he pulled back. I'm not sure why. Maybe he was just scouting. Free again, continue to have Free in the map, but not needing to produce too many units. Both players seem to be macroing up very heavily, but Savior's got a huge advantage because he's got 5 bases now, and he's been allowed to do that. And really, I suppose on the one hand, it was a massive risk by him putting that expansion down. On the other hand, it was a clever risk because this build, I don't think I've seen a Zerg player go for such a crazy build before and take such a huge risk. Most Zerg players don't really expand that in that way. Savior now coming in with the drop, but I think he should have gone for the drop earlier, and maybe he doesn't have anything. Maybe he's just trying to keep his opponent distracted, keep his opponent busy. Looks like Free meanwhile trying to take that expansion at the 11 o'clock position. He's managed to get a pylon down, but Savior's managed to kill the drone there, and Free indeed having a couple of Dragoons and High Templar in his main, keeping them back. And I think this is clever by Savior. He's just keeping Free on his toes, keeping him a little bit distracted with those overlords which don't actually have any units, and he's just and he's actually now bringing his overlords in, but surely he would have known that those overlords were scouted by the probe, so surely Savior's not going to be going for a drop here, and he's not. It's a fake, and that's exactly what it was, and he just wanted to lure Free, and he sold Free a dummy completely there. My opinion is a fake because he would have tried to drop units if he had them, and Free completely sold the dummy there. I mean, that was ridiculous by Free. I know Savior's a little bit rusty, and you can see about evidence of Savior's rustiness with the 5 idle drones sitting there. I don't think we would have seen that in the old Savior, and more idle drones in his main. So Savior's APM is definitely not up where it used to be, but he's doing a decent job of keeping Free on the back foot and controlling the game overall thus far. And he's only produced Zerglings other than those couple of Hydras that he made for Lurkers. He's essentially been holding Free at bay with just Zerglings, and meanwhile, looks like Free has got level 1 attack upgrade for his ground forces. Now he's been able to bring those High Templar out along with the few more Dragoons to support his forces. And Savior I might have just bought himself a little bit of crucial time. It looks like Savior's also now taking an expansion at the 11 o'clock position, as well as trying to take an expansion possibly at the 9 o'clock. No, he's in taking something at the 9 o'clock position. I'm not sure if that's an expansion or if it's just a bunch of units that are just standing stationary at that. Savior again, I'm not sure what he's trying to do with those 3 or 4 Zerglings, maybe trying to get in and try and do a little bit of harassment. He is now sending a drone up to take that expansion at the 11 o'clock position. Free just continue to maraud around the middle of the map. He's content enough with what he's got and building up his forces, feeling that when the inevitable battle comes, he's going to be able to take it. Savior looks like he's built another 2 hatcheries at his minimum. He's now got the Greater Spire up critically. Savior, despite the fact that he produced no Mutalisk, has produced a Greater Spire, but of course, considering that he's got so many expansions and so much gas, he's going to be able to afford taking the Greater Spire as well as the Artilist in sort of kind of the way that we saw July do. So Savior's now got those Mutalisks out to get that Greater Spire up and running. Meanwhile, Observer and Free just seems to be not wanting to put any pressure on Savior whatsoever. I'm not sure why he's doing that, why he's allowing Savior. At the very least, he could have attempted a couple of drops with the High Templar to try and hurt Savior's economy with the shuttle, although it has to be said that Savior did keep Free guessing until recently with those overlords that he threatened to drop with the speed upgrade overlords. Savior's got 1-1 upgrades, and Savior trying to put down the expansion at the 11 o'clock position is going to be intercepted by a couple of Zealots, and he picks up the drone with the overlord, so decent micro by Savior there, but Free immediately moving the bulk of his forces to intercept Savior. Savior looks like he's brought a bunch of Zerglings up there, and those Zerglings are going to get caught, and Savior is going to be forced to win. So Savior is actually going to use that overlord now to drop at that 12 o'clock expansion. Free has got the robotics facility out, but I haven't seen a shuttle out yet for him. He's got the shuttle out, so he should be able to take, and he's got a robotics support bay as well, critically, so he should be able to get that speed upgrade for the shuttle. I'm not sure if he's going to actually produce any Reavers. He might decide to, because he's going to realize that this is going to go into a late game heavy unit build, and that's what Savior is playing for. Savior also dropping a drone off at the 6 o'clock expansion, going to take an expansion down there. The 2 Zealots continue to roam it free around the 11 o'clock base, and really a game of cat and mouse being played in between these 2 players. No heavy engagements thus far. Savior's now got the Defiler out, and I'm sure he'll be looking to land a plague or 2, or maybe it looks like he's going for that expansion at the 3 o'clock position, so he might be able to use a swarm to get those Zerglings into the photon cannons in that relatively undefended expansion. I'm sure if Free smart, he's got at least a single High Templar waiting there between those photon cannons just for some such eventuality. Savior once again with the 3 speed upgrade overlords. I'm not sure if he's intending to drop this time. Looks like he's going to pick up those units and drop, but that's just within range of the Observer. So Free's seen that, obviously. Xavier looks like he's still going to go ahead and drop at the mineral expansion. There's a High Templar waiting as well. There's a Photon Cannon, but the High Templar is out of range to get the scan. Looks like another robotics facility going down. Xavier getting the swarms up, and he's actually, and Free not moving the probes out. He needs to move the probes. He needs to budge them out. Looks like Free's now finally budged the probes out, moving out. Xavier, though, hammering away at that Nexus. There are no High Templar, and Xavier's going to be able to take down Free's Nexus. Brilliance by Xavier. Great strategy, great drop, and he kills the Nexus at the mineral only of Freeze. So Xavier takes the Nexus down, now trying to do some more damage. He's not really microing his units there. Looks like he's just going to focus upon him down, and looks like he might actually try and take advantage of this. He meanwhile looked like he got an attack going with Guardians at Freeze Expo at the 3 o'clock position. Unfortunately for him, those Guardians being killed by storms. Xavier sending in more Zerglings to try and take those Dragoons out because the Zealots seem to be stuck behind. Meanwhile, Free has gotten a drop off with 4 Zealots at the 6 o'clock expansion, and he's killing the hatchery that's being built there by Xavier. So Xavier's going to have to do another job to retake that, but Xavier's still in a comfortable position in terms of the economy. He's also got the expansion at the 12 o'clock position, and he's got his Ultralisk Cavern up as well. His defenses are still quite shored up, and he has done critically the damage of taking down Free's mineral only Nexus, and Free hasn't been able to really take another expansion down. Xavier coming in to drop the Zerglings at the 6 o'clock expansion, but unfortunately too late. Free takes out with his suicidal Jihad Zealots, takes down the 6 o'clock expansion of Xavier's. Xavier's going to have to send another drone down, and unfortunately waste the time that it takes to build another hatchery. But he has got that creep there, so he might be able to put a couple of drones down and build maybe a couple of spore colonies, a couple of Sunkens defense. Actually, that creep is retreating, so he's not going to be able to do that. Xavier, this time getting another drop off, Storm going off to take out some of the Zerglings. Xavier managed to get a swarm off. He's managed to take some of the Photon guys off. Looks like he's trying to focus the Nexus down again, but the probes are hammering away at the Zerglings as well. The Zealots coming around trying to get some damage. Some of those Zerglings aren't necessarily under the protection of the swarm. Another High Templar coming in. Xavier with just 2 Zerglings left hammering away, and Free just barely manages to save that Nexus, but a couple of hits from a couple of Guardians will probably be enough to kill it. Xavier is able to attack from that expansion, from that high ground that he's got at the Natural Expo at the 5 o'clock expansion, at the middle only of the 5 o'clock expansion, and now the Ultras pop already 2-1 upgrade, 2-1, it looks like. It could it be 2-4? I think it's actually 2-1 upgrades. Meanwhile, it looks like level 2 attack and level 1 ground armor on the Zealots, and it is 2-4 upgrades on the Ultralisk. I must be completely blind, sorry guys. 2-4 upgrades on the Ultralisk. Meanwhile, Free dropping the expansion with, again, 4 Zealots at the 12 o'clock position. Xavier, I thought, had got that expansion up, not able to, and the Zealots dropping just in time. Unfortunately for Xavier, he's not able to get any Sunkens up. He's trying to build more Sunkens while those Zealots hammer away. He needs to get some reinforcements down there, but meanwhile, Free continuing to harass at that 11 o'clock expansion. Xavier hasn't actually put an expansion down there. Xavier's got a couple of Zerglings there that he's thinking of putting into the Overlord and dropping them, and surely he could use that, and Xavier is going to actually get that Overlord, those Zerglings in, just to try and delay those Zealots while he manages to get a Sunken up. He's got actually almost 8 Zerglings there, so he should be able to get a Sunken down. He should be able to hold this defense. Free only with the 1 shuttle. He did have the 2 robotics facilities down, and he's going to bring in reinforcements, but Xavier crucially has managed to get the 1 Sunken down. Problem for Xavier is that now the Reaver is up. The Reaver's killed the lone Zergling there. Xavier trying to get the Zergling within range of the Reaver and hammer away at it, but Free's got the shuttle sitting on top of it to load it up into. Meanwhile, Freeze also killing the Xavier's expansion. So Freeze, at the moment, at least, he's successfully halted Xavier expanding from further. Xavier's actually managed to take the Reaver out. Poor micro by Free. Despite the fact that he had the shuttle hovering over it, he wasn't able to micro it around within range of the Sunken. I suppose it wasn't necessarily poor micro as such. He's got the Dark Archon out, no doubt for the use of Maelstrom against Xavier's superior forces. He's probably going to try and use that in a group of Ultras. Xavier's got only the 1 Sunken remain there, but he's also got a Scourge to try and intercept the shuttle.